backtesting like a daddy Mac. 10, 30 years got our way. Trading life and markets every day. Option on leg up, you're traded home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
I left Rusty out. I left Rusty out of that one. But
The biggest day in some time, and where's Rusty?
That's right.
We replaced him, though. He's live. He's with us.
That's why. I don't need him on some nostalgia video. I've got him right here with me. In fact, he's actually minutes from me, but we never see each other. That's the rule. Anyway.
Well, listen, someone stands me up all the time. We have this standing date to go to the sauna together, and I go there alone, and I just weep by myself in the sauna room.
In the sauna, yeah.
Listen, and I get a little call. It's like, yeah, I got better things to do than hang out with you. That's every time.
My secret is that I don't like to cry with people in the sauna. I like to go by myself, and you know this. Anyway,
this is true.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing good.
On this morning.
Special day. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. I know it's early for a lot of people. For some people, it's not early, whatever. So to our European friends eating lunch right now, congratulations on your lunch.
Hope you have a good siesta.
That's right. To our Pacific friends, bless you for getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. And then East Coast friends, you know, we're all here waiting for the bell to open.
That's right.
But we have a very special day. We've been talking about this for a long time. But first, I want to show you something. So I have been talking about the small account challenge with you guys. And shout out Stephen V. Shout out to the chat. We were talking a couple days ago about Monday double calendars in the queues. And Stephen V kind of sent this one. I don't remember if he put this in the OO discussion channel and Discord, maybe in the chat somewhere. But I really like this. And guys, what this is a queues trade, Monday morning, Monday afternoon, all day. This is an all day. This is a MEDC, a Monday multiple entry double calendar. Okay. And I think it's time that we automate this. Is it okay if we just do this live, fellas?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to create this automated strategy. I'm going to say this is active. I'm going to say this is my account. I'm going to do one contract at a time. I'm going to, since it's queues, increment it in 1 cent increments. Guys, that's a live strategy now. That's a live strategy.
See that lightning bolt?
That lightning bolt means a live strategy. But fellas, I've been able to do this for months. I have been able to automate strategies, and we have been automating strategies for months. But what we're here today to announce is this morning, so can you. If you go to optionomega.com, you can now sign up for live trading. We are in it. We are there. It's time to rock. So, with that being said, it's live. Guys, how you feeling?
Great.
I honestly feel I'm stoked. Listen, been working on this for over a year, right? Troy teasing me with the coal mine thing, but I mean, it's been a lot of effort over the last year. Want to get it right, want to really stick the execution on it. So it kind of feels like I've been chomping at the bit all week. As soon as we decided that this is the week we were ready, every day I've been like, come on, let's get to Friday. I just want to get this thing released, you know, because I think it's ready. To Troy's point, I've been trading on at full size right? At full size, not dink and dunk one lot, but like full size with my account automating since September on the platform. And before that, at smaller sizes just to test it and, didn't want to find bugs with thousands of dollars. But that said, I felt pretty confident in it for a while and been ready to get it out and let other people use it. I know a lot of people have been asking for it. It's been our #1 requested feature for a couple of years now.
For 3 years.
Yeah.
We launched, so OO launched in March 2022, and literally the first week we had people saying, can I bot this? And we were like, are you trying to audit? Like, what do you do? You want to run more back tests? Like, what are you doing? For three plus years, it's been a steady drumbeat from the community of, hey, we love this back tester. What we want is simple. We want to automate the back tests. And it's been really interesting because Rusty and I were the first 2 users, and close to a year now we've been using it. And it's had this really interesting effect of freeing up a ton of our time, because when you're trying to trade back tests that have delta exits and technical conditions and VIX conditions and profit targets and stop losses, but soft stop losses, maybe not hard stop losses, or hard stop losses, and multiple tranches and you're trying to do a couple dozen of those, even if you're trading full time, that's difficult. And so it's been incredible for us just to see how this tool, which is the tool that we built, was helpful for us, and how much time and mental space it's freed up in now the better part of the year since we've been trading on it.
That's right.
Let me work backwards for a second. Many people have said, hey, why did beta take so long? Well, it didn't take so long really for this type of environment. It worked fine. So, but beta, if you were on it and you were on the wait list, I can understand it took in your mind, it took a long time because you felt like, hey, it's tough. And so the reason we did that is because we wanted stability and we wanted confidence, and every iteration of the beta gained us more confidence. And so for those who are just now joining us, you can go to Option Omega and sign up for automated trading now. It's now live on the platform. And even this week, Rusty, we're continuously improving on a thing. When you launch something, you want it to be stable, but you also go into it with the idea of saying, at any given day, at this point, Lord willing, this is as bad as it'll ever be, because we're always trying to iterate, always trying to improve on something. Right. So shout out to Rusty, who's done it, who worked very hard on this. We really have been thinking about, we've been in development for over a year. We've been thinking about this for 2 years. It's taken up a lot of mental space because we care about it and we want to do a good job with it. 2, let me just paint a picture real quick for you. So 8-9 years ago, I'm trading with Rusty in our trading office / a completely different job that had nothing to do with trading, that I was just trading during the day. And every Friday we would have kind of office lunches together. And I'll never forget this. There was a Friday where I was trading an Amazon butterfly. This is when Amazon hadn't stock split. So it's a huge underlying at that point. And I was trading and going into lunch. It's a happy Friday. Everybody's hanging out. Going into lunch, I was down thousands of dollars. And for that whole lunch, I had to just sit there and think mentally about how I was going to adjust this, because I was going in blind. I was trading discretionarily. I just put a butterfly on that day because I thought Amazon was I was going to test Friday expirations, do it live. Well, what I know now and what I wish I had then was this platform.
Yeah.
A platform where you could test ahead of time, where you can have confidence ahead of time, and then you can be at lunch and you might still lose, but at least you have a game plan. And it's taking care of it for you. You're not having to monitor your phone 24 hours a day. You're not having to do all that stuff. One could say you might even be able to do your job that you're supposed to do instead of trading. So,
I mean, I remember being at lunch, to your point, Troy. Like we have we have a trade. One of my favorites is the opening range breakout trade, right? And it looks between 10:30 and 12:30. And so I like to eat lunch around 12 because I'm like an old man. I like to do my things at certain times. Noon hits, I want to go make my salad and whatever and eat it. Well, now I'm sitting there, on my phone looking at candles or whatever while I'm trying to make a salad and like, oh, if we're breaking out of the range, I got to put on a. Now I don't have to do that. Like I still monitor my stuff all day, to Troy's point. Like I still, you don't want to go hands off and just let the car drive itself, right? I know all the promises of AI and self-driving cars have yet to materialize. Anyway, that's a whole nother tangent. The point is, I don't have to candle watch all day, right? I can work, to Matt's point, and I've gotten a ton of work done because I can work and automate and know that the parity between the backtester, the plan, and the automation platform is high, right? Like if
Yeah.
orb's in the backtester, it's
Yeah.
in the automation platform. If like all the conditions, right? There's no fussing, right? It's just there. And I mean, there's still risk with options and all that, but yeah, you just have to.
And
It's such a mental load off and an emotional load. I mean, Dan talks about this all the time. Like your kids would trade these things better than you, and so I've tried to really. I don't think I've intervened on my back. I just let the bot do the thing, right?
a couple notes with that. One, Rusty's a machine emotionally. One could say he's a Terminator, iRobot, whatever you want to do. Her from the movie Her, whatever you want to say.
K2SO, please.
That's right.
Come on.
So in a perfect world, you want to gain confidence to not touch the back test. Also, while we're talking features, you can pause it. If you can do these things that you need to do. We don't necessarily encourage you to do that, but you have the freedom to do that with this platform. You can pause trading and things like that. Two,
and you can manually open trades and close.
Yes.
I mean, there's discretion built into the platform too.
Yeah,
right?
and shout out to Matt. We tried to launch with a bunch of documentation, and we did that. So if you can check out the docs, and Matt has done a good job of setting everything up to where you should be able to understand it. And we have Discord. So
yeah, and let me just talk on that for like 30 seconds. I know nobody wants to hear about documentation. I don't even want to hear about documentation, but we have written documentation on the doc site, and we have a video course that's already live. It's free. It's called Automation Bootcamp. It's the sister course to Backtesting Bootcamp. And I'll just say this. The architecture, the philosophy behind the backtester and the automation are the same. So it's literally designed. If you're comfortable with backtesting, the automation should be very intuitive. So the documentation, there's a lot of things you can dial in with the documentation. And if there's any nuances, those are covered. So again, we've got an overwhelming amount of resources for you with the written documentation, the automation bootcamp, all the backtesting resources in both those places, and also, of course, the Discord community where you can interact every day, and people do, even in the wee hours of the morning.
I will say also that I'm about to sneeze. And I sneezed and I'm muted. All right.
Dude, that was perfect timing.
Thank you. I'm getting pretty good at that.
Yeah, you're really good at that. That might be your best skill.
Well, let me tell you something. You can
let me tell you.
But anyway, we have been asked, perhaps second to none, one of the top questions we get asked is, do you have any plans for Schwab? So out of the gate, you can trade with 3 brokers. You can look it up online who we have and things like that. But one of the 3 is Schwab. It's live from day one. So we have worked really hard. Rusty has worked really, really hard to get that up because we knew that was a big deal for a lot of people. So you can check that out. But Schwab is live as of this morning as well. So guys, I mean, when you're trading these type of things, what this opens up to you, in my mind, is Mark Anderson was on yesterday, and he was talking about how he approaches backtesting and trading. And the automation part is a big deal because it allows you to free up. What you want to be is you want to be a researcher. You don't want to be a button pusher. And this frees you up to be a researcher. You know, your ideas are the things that are going to generate income and not clicking a button really, really fast. That's at least our approach to trading. There are people who are really, really fast at clicking buttons, and shout out to those people who make money. I personally have never been able to make money clicking buttons really fast. My hand-eye dexterity is not what it used to be. So,
It's true.
Dan, you've been teaching options a long time. What does automation do for people who are newer to options?
Yeah, I think it's a game changer. I mean, that's one of the, when I came into started teaching when I left the CBOE, after being there over 20 years, I knew coming in, it was hard. It was hard for me learning options. And so when I came in to teach it, I thought, this isn't easy, right? And you go over it and you teach it. It's a craft and it takes a while. And as Rusty said, I always used to say, especially as we get older, it's tough to stick with the rules. I always used to say, if you had a fifth grader could do it better than you. I used to do seminars at the CBOE for years saying, look at whatever I'm teaching, calendar, whatever the strategy was, say, hey, please, if you can stick with this 10 weeks in a row, I'll send you an Italian beef from Portillo's. In 15, 20 years, I didn't lose many Italian beefs because that's not in people's nature as much. You really got to love the business to stick with it. So I am thrilled. I mean, I'm thrilled that years ago in church, of all places, I met Troy, who was the pastor of the church. And we're talking options. We're like, there's nobody in Knoxville but us who are talking, at least that we knew of, talking options. So I'm very thankful that I got to, through Troy, meet Matt and Rusty. But this is a game changer because it's a helper. It's a helper to people. It's a positive helper. And I think the biggest thing is, as Mark said yesterday, Mark Anderson, it does free you up to learn during the day. These things are in there. I can't tell you how many times, I'll say myself, after trading for 20 years, how many numbskull mistakes I make still on a daily basis. I hit the wrong button. How many times I wimp out of a position that I've taught people to stay in till 10% and I wimp out at 5%. My emotions are still after 20 some years, whereas I will definitely be in this. I will share everything I do on this and I will make a pledge to try to be as mechanical. I don't know if I could get as good as, I think Matt's great at staying with mechanical, but he says, Dan, you think I'm good. Rusty's he's going to stick with. So I just think it's a good help. But from a risk manager, I look at, I'm really impressed with because I look at all rails. And how I look at trades when they get in trouble, I've always looked at, okay, the delta of the short or the, you're talking profit target based on VIX, based on delta. They got it all in there. I mean, I used to think Thinkorswim would have everything in there and they're pretty good, but I'm just, from a risk manager point of view, I'm impressed all the rails I need now. I mean, with VIX, with, it's really good. So I'm looking forward. I just think it'll be a big help to people. And I think for new people, because the biggest thing with new people is, are they going to make it 6 months? Because most of them don't. I mean, I've had this conversation with many brokerage people over the years, and they're like, Dan, every 3 months we need new people. I said, why don't you focus on education, keeping them in? But I think with the bots, I think there's a lot higher probability new people are going to make it, even with small accounts, to 6 months or 7 months. So I think it's a game changer. I mean, I'm excited to, I'm hopefully by the weekend to have a couple mechanical trades and get the thing going. So I think it's a very big positive, but it's not just a positive. You've seen in the futures industry, wouldn't you say they've had back testing, I guess, or bots for years. This to me, it's different. It's not just a bot. It's a bot with, Matt always says it's a world-class back tester, which is true, but I'm more interested in it's a world-class risk manager, that it's got the rails. I mean, and if a numbskull like me, who's got the computer skills of maybe a 2 or 3 year old at best, and I've had some help from the guys. I'm not going to, Matt and Troy and Rusty have shown me, but it's still, it's learnable, but it's just, I'm just impressed. The risk, from a risk manager, show me better. Right. And things things that I didn't even think about as a risk manager, they've got on there. So I'm excited about it, and I hope people take advantage of it.
There was a young couple came to church pastoring, and they're from Chicago, and they're asking about what I do, bivocational ministry, things like that. So I strangely enough, my tent making is a fintech company. And they said, oh, you might talk about options. They said, oh, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I don't know if you've heard of my dad. I was like, well, who's your dad? He's like, Dan Sheridan. And I immediately pulled up a Google document I had from 2018 of courses, all the courses I had taken from Dan Sheridan, just in excitement, being like, do I know Dan Sheridan? And so
then you pulled out the poster that you have, like, of Dan, like,
yeah,
the back.
that Farrah Fawcett, that famous Farrah Fawcett poster.
In my Chicago Bulls jersey.
That's right. Think that Farrah Fawcett poster, but with Dan Sheridan.
But Dan.
Yeah. Anyway,
listen, we all have that one
for sure. Yeah. So anyway, we're very excited. Obviously, and again, in development, the way I look at this stuff is, this is the worst. Like, it's really good. So understand the marketing talk. I'm just being real here for a second. This is the worst it'll ever be. Like, when you're iterating and when you're developing. No. I'm saying we have taken great pains that when you release something, you want it to be really, really good. But we are also developers and traders. And we also recognize that things iterate. We are not the type of people that are like, we have built this behemoth and it's done. It's completely, there's nothing in life ever done. And so we will continue to work. Rusty made some platform adjustments yesterday that I think are killer. And so the more people come on, the more feedback we're going to get. It's like the backtester. If you look at the backtester from 2022, it's very different from the backtester today. Not really, but there's a lot more features. It is. And so we're very, very excited about it. And one of the reasons we started the OO show, to be honest, was that we knew we were going to be launching this, and we wanted a place where we could, as the kids say, a safe space. And I don't want to do it. There's no safe spaces, but anyway, you're going to get me off topic. A place where we could talk about strategies, and someone could come and learn different ways of trading than perhaps their community doesn't talk about, and all under the guise of risk management, all under the guise of being safe with your trading, but a place where you can learn in a healthy environment, all with the goal of being able to automate these strategies. Because most of the strategies we talk about every day on the OO show, apart from some of my crazy ones during Liberation Day stuff, is automatable. And so automatable, I don't know if it's a word, but we're going to start using it.
I like it.
Automatable.
Put it on a shirt, Troy.
Oh,
I mean, to your point, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons you want education, because the last thing you want is to create a very unrealistic backtest, because you can, right? It's a simulation. And if you create something that's hot garbage and then you go to automate it, you're going to be like, what doesn't match? Well, I mean, if you've done something nutso, and that's why we're here, right? That's why we're educating. That's why we got Dan on board, who's the best in the class educator. And so we created this tool to be realistic from day one. I mean, I remember Troy and I were using a different product. It was not realistic. And we've been on podcasts saying this stuff before. That was the genesis of all this. We were like, we got to create a realistic backtester that has all the pain, like Matt calls it, the punishers in there, all the pain you can throw at it. And if it still survives all that pain, then you want to automate it. And to Dan's point, you want to have risk management as part of that, any realistic strategy. So as a good example, right, to put some, context around this, like, I love trading DCs, but I don't want to trade a DC if the short delta on either leg, if it goes too far, right? If it blows past, well, you can have that in there. I don't want to trade a DC if all the juice is squeezed out of the shorts, right? Well, there's a short long exit in there, and I don't want to write it till expiration. I don't want to let the shorts expire. So you want an early exit. That's also in there. So before, when I was doing this, my voice is cracking like a teenager. you would.
It's okay, Rusty. It's a safe space.
I'm
It's a
excited.
safe space. It's
This is a great
the new
day, guys.
I'm a real boy.
I'm a real- I would trade them this way, but I had to like constantly monitor. Okay, I'd have a little sheet, and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to exit this trade at this time. I'd have a calendar of all my exits early. I'd have to watch the deltas in the broker and making sure, and if I had 5, 6, 7 DCs on, which ones are getting breached, is there any juice left in them? And you're having to do all this stuff all day. And then you're like, you might, head out to take the garbage out, and in your head, like, what if something's happened? Now you don't, it's just a whole different world to have all that risk management built into the app and not have to, you still monitor it, but not have to be as insane about it, if that makes sense.
Well, and you've addressed, when you look at your main 2 risks with any of these strategies, whether it be an iron condor, double calendar, whatever it is, it's price and vol. So on all your rails, as you guys say, with the deltas, with the short long ratio, you could put VIX. I never even thought of what you guys use with the double calendars. You'll say one of the things you use is the minimum VIX down 0.01, right?
Right.
And that's what, that's just, it's something I can look at and say intuitive, but I never thought of to always follow the rules of that. And so to have these things that are based on your risk, price and vol, it just takes the pressure off. And I can't, I'm sure many people can echo this next thought. I mean, how many times me coming home late from Panera in the morning and I miss a trade and it's cost me money. And you say, well, why don't you just come home early from Panera? Well, there was good conversation. And
well, you tell them, why don't you?
That's right. Thank you, Troy. Thank you, Troy. But I just think having this does give you, and I think the thing that comes in my mind more, again, what Mark was talking about, Mark Anderson yesterday, and the guys are saying is it frees up the time you can learn more during the day, because, so many times I've wasted an hour at the opening just watching this. And I'm thinking, what did I accomplish? I just watched it. I got a little stressed. And really what I'm doing is cheerleading, right?
Yeah.
I'm short deltas. In the last,
That's right.
In the last 2 weeks, we've had 4 gaps of 50, 60 points. And I'm like, and so what do I do for 20 minutes? I'm short deltas. Come on, baby. Come on down. Come on down. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Oh yeah.
What am I doing? So.
Dan, you just described, maybe 1,000 hours in the last 10 years.
Easy.
We all do it.
True. Yeah.
We all do it. Listen, to the point we're all learning, and we're all, this is why I'm very excited about the tool. In my mind, it's not, you don't have to market this too hard, because if you're a trader, you understand it pretty quickly. I was up till like 1 o'clock the other morning on the announcement that like the court was canceling the tariffs, because I had positions on. And instead of trusting the backtest, I overmanaged. And then once you overmanage, now you're really locked into looking for the next 4 hours.
Yeah.
And so, there's a beauty in, and we've talked about this on the OO show a lot, but I can speak personally for a second of how we're trading, not financial advice. I have a lot of different trades that are very, very, I keep them very, very small. And the key with all of this, you'll hear this almost every day on the OO show, is trade small enough to where you don't lose sleep at night. Trade small enough to where you're done. If you find yourself having to be glued to the screen, you're probably trading too big.
That's right.
Right. And so get smaller. And the beauty of this is we have 100 opening executions a day. What does that mean? Well, what that means is you can have 500 strategies in your arsenal, and every day, 100 of them can open. Rusty always explains this much better than I can. Rusty, tell about what they're doing.
So opening execution simply means that the automation platform opens a trade. Okay. So you could have 5 leg groups in that, and that's one opening execution, for example. So that, or you could have a re-entering, right? Because we support trades that re-enter throughout the day, just like the back tester. If one's closed, it'll re-enter after a delay or whatever, or multiple tranches. Like each of those is an entry. So if you have 5 tranches on an MEIC, for example, that's 5 opening entries. But if you have trades that don't execute, like let's say you have mutually exclusive trades, which is a fancy way to say you have, a trade when VIX is up in the morning and a trade when VIX is down in the morning. Well, they're not both going to go on, right? And so only one of those would execute. So Troy's point is you could have a bazillion, different automations firing, and then the platform will know which ones are going on and off, and it'll only cap you at 100. And I'll say this, like, you and our users were smart enough to point this out. You're going to hit the professional trader limit on the number of orders in a day because of like the iterate, because you have to cancel and replace an order to get a fill and things. You're going to hit that limit as a professional trader long before probably you hit the 100. I mean, no one's hit it yet in the entirety of beta, which is going on for a while. So you've got to be careful about that rule. What is it? The 390 rule? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Way before you're worried about our limit's just in there for sanity, but you ought to be careful yourself, right? Because you're both. It's any order entered, even if it's canceled, is my understanding. So if you're incrementing, decrementing bids on both closing and opening, you're going to hit that way before. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah. So we allow you to put on a lot, and people have asked about pricing and things like that. Matt, can you speak to the pricing? And let me just say, one of the things early on, one of the discussions early on was we're not playing any games with pricing. Like we want you guys to learn to be really, really good at trading. And so we're not going to like treat anybody like baby birds. This is just one pricing. Whether you trade all the time or you trade small, trade unoften, it's just one pricing. And the reason for that is we think once you get into back testing and get into trading, it'll take care of itself. And so the automation subscription includes back testing because it'd be nonsensical for it not to. And so it's one price and go from there. But Matt, I might have said it already, but
yeah, no, you pretty much covered it. And it's live now. Somebody asked about it. I linked the URL, but it's just optionomega.com. If you click the sign up button, or you can go to optionomega.com/register. $2.99 a month for automation, $29.99 a year for automation. Currently supports Tasty, Tradier, Schwab. And as Rusty talked about, it's 100 opening executions a day. And I've linked it a couple times, but most of the questions that have been asked, if you go to the docs and click the read this first brokerage details, that has all of the brokerage details that you want to read first. And if you have a question about your subscription and can't figure out how to upgrade or whatever, you can just shoot an email to support@optionomega.com and we will help you. And yeah, the response in the beta, there's been a goodly number of beta testers. So they've been, using this platform now for months and months. So if anybody has
people helping with it.
Yeah. So if anybody has questions, you can jump in the OO Discord and just probably, I don't know, post in maybe actual trades and just ask beta users for their feedback. I'm sure they'll be happy to share the feedback. So yeah, it's 9:20. We could go longer, guys. We usually wrap it up, but if we want to,
special day.
Yeah, it is a special day.
I'd say let's push it and go to 9:30.
Okay.
So,
right to the bell.
Yeah, right to the bell. So listen, I mean, I can speak, again, speaking personally a lot. This is a safe space. As is my custom, when I get pumped, I stay up way too late. But then this morning, smoking a cigar on the way here to the office, I did a couple extra laps because there's what you call heart songs. There's songs that you like get pumped to. 2 songs, the Going the Distance song from Rocky at the end during the fight, and Rocky 4 when he's fighting the giant Russian. Those 2 are kind of my mood today.
That's the iconic scene, fighting the Russian.
I can run through a wall. I could run through a wall after listening to that. So anyway, I'm very excited. I mean, Dan, I know I've kind of asked this iteration, but I'm going to ask a different way of looking at it. What is something when someone's getting started, and they're automating, what are some common things that you would ask them to maybe consider as far as sizing? Like just real quick, just to end on a perhaps a good kind of conservative note about trading. What is how should people think about sizing with this? Lest someone put 100,000 in who has 105,000 net worth
Yeah.
and goes crazy.
I think that should be nailed at the beginning. And I think you know, it's been great, the small account challenge that you've been doing the last week or so. And I think if people would just look at those back tests that you and Matt and Mark yesterday, the one contract, right? And I think what I like about this from a learning perspective, if you're newer in a smaller account, is you set it up in the back testing, right? You do the one, and Troy and Matt you've been showing that for the last week, right? One contract to do.
Yeah.
But what's wonderful about that, once you have it set up, you've got a lot of room during the day to really relax. You're taking the emotion out of it and trade. And I think just I would say, take one trade, do one contract, get that going, get comfortable with the whole process, then slowly bring in another trade. But again, I think you can do this with a small account. And I would say, again, my goal is to have someone there in 6 months, because to me, once you hit 6 months learning this business, the people that hit 6 months or 7 months, if I was bringing in Matt's always Moneyball example, if you can get a student, I've always said, to 6-7 months, they got a good chance of hitting 10 years. If you can't get them to 6-7 months, right? And brokerage firms confirm this. I've talked to plenty of people at brokerage firm. And the way to do that is, the only thing you can do with students is control the size, right? Control the size. And so if you keep one contract, and again, through the OO show, through everything Options Omega is doing, you have some good templates. I mean, I look at even yesterday with Mark showing 3 different back tests. And as Matt said, hey, these are starting points, the things that Matt and Troy have coming up. And just take one, get it going, maybe a month, evaluate it. But I think that's going to be a great help for you. And then you have some time during the day, because I've had students over the years, they'll watch video after video all day long, and they get a headache at the end of the day, right? And here, it makes it a much, much more relaxing thing. And again, also take advantage of, for newer people, watch what they do in the Discord at Options Omega. I mean, you got some guys there that are like, right, they're very good.
Yeah, shout out to the Discord. Sorry, Dan, I'm going to interrupt you for just 1 second, because this is important. I got to give a shout out to the Discord. When we started OO a couple of years ago, not that it was an afterthought. We knew we needed like some sort of community function, but we had no idea that the OO Discord would turn into what it is. And
it's
just
been wild.
A huge shout out.
I've learned so much.
Yeah. And the tool is built on the desires of the people. Like, these are people who are doing this every day. They have good feedback, and that has informed how we've built the backtester and the automation platform. So we've got a super robust community, and cannot tell you the number of people that have said, hey, I love the backtester. You guys should be charging for the community, because the community is just as valuable. And we're not planning on charging for the Discord. I'm just saying there's a high level of value of getting plugged in to the OO Discord. So sorry, Dan, I just had to give a quick shout out to the Discord.
But see, that's the community part that I think people miss in terms of trading. You're learning from each other. I mean, I learn every time we do an OO show. I'll pick up something from the chat or from you or Troy or Rusty. It gives me another idea. It's hard to just be this island by yourself. It doesn't work. I mean, you're not going to build a better chair necessarily by yourself. And I think, you think about just a strategy in the OO. What would you say, Matt or Rusty or Troy, in terms of like the DC? How many people, if you had to say, to get it to, one of the best tests, you've had many people in there have contributed to make the DC.
It's been years of working in the forge and refining. And, you go back and look at some of these back tests from like 2022, and some of them are okay. And then you look at the modern inertians and you're like, oh man, this is so much better. And some of it's because of the additional options and risk management that the back tester has now that it didn't have 3 years ago. And then a lot of it is just people realizing,
Chopping it up.
hey, yeah, this is my forward testing and my live trading informing my back testing. And this is what I've observed. And then they use the back tester. And
Yeah.
like Mark talked about yesterday, the back tester actually validates something that you saw and you weren't sure if you saw it or not. And then the back tester bears it out.
Another way to say that is that other people can learn from our pain and loss because a lot of those
No.
things we added in there, because it's like, oh no, well, I had this back test that did great, and then it went bloop and it fell off the cliff. And I'm like, well, I should have always had a condition in there for
Yes.
this that makes sense without overfitting. I'm not talking about overfitting, but it's like you can't let DCs get 200 points in the money. Like that's
Right.
a bad idea.
Or I can tell you the exact
You know?
trade because Rusty and I were both in it. That caused the short long exit to be added. Like I can tell you the exact trade.
Absolutely.
Remember how much I was down on it. Exited the trade because we didn't have it in the back test, and the next morning got a huge move, and the trade that I exited was super profitable. But we didn't have it. We didn't have a way to
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 quantify
see.
it.
Yeah, to validate it.
Well, and that's where
Uh,
innovation, when you think about it, I wonder with Rusty making all the changes over the years. I mean, it's like in the, in any community, when trades are going well, it's just like, okay, it worked. Maybe the market didn't move. But when things go against you, you're constantly doing these post-mortems, right? And that's where it comes up probably when you say Rusty and me a lot, and Troy, a lot of your innovations have come.
Yep.
Hey, we lost money on this trade. Why? And then it's like, well, what if we do this? And,
Yeah.
and that's the exciting thing of a losing trade. That's the only exciting thing about a losing trade. There's really not a lot of exciting things that lose trade because it hurt, but it is exciting when you can kind of wipe off the dirt and say, okay, why? Is it correctable? Is it, it's not just blame the market. That's the easy way out. It's saying, okay, what did I do? And then what can I do next time? That's the whole thing, looking forward. And so that's neat.
Yeah. And listen,
Yeah.
final thought. I mean, you have been able to do the following for a couple years now with Option Omega. You that meme where the wife is on one side and she's like, I think he's probably
Yes.
thinking about the other woman, and then the guy's doing something there. Like
He's thinking about back tests.
the meme for me is like, can you open up a DC every 5 minutes all week long? That's
Wow.
my,
Wow.
but to
Every
me,
5
That
minutes.
voice, that was
The voice was good. The voice.
oh man.
but now with the benefit of it is the thing that was always the friction point was finding a test with maybe a specific filter or a specific kind of condition that does really well. Well, feeling that nervousness of saying like, I've got to do it right then. I've got to get it that minute or else it felt well. Now you can set that up with literally 2 clicks. And that to me feels very powerful. So for those who just joining us, we're leaving now. Good to see you. But the final thing we'll say is trading is now live through automation on Option Omega. You can go to optionomega.com and sign up for it today. Go through the boot camp, and please do go through the boot camp. It will save you and us an immense amount of time. We've put a lot of thought into it. And by we, I mean Matt has put a lot of thought into it from the beginning. Matt. And it'll save you a lot of time, like anything else, when you sign up for the back tester. Think about if you sign up for the back tester, you need to go through boot camp that much more. If you sign up for automation, you need to go through the boot camp.
And one last thing, you can upgrade yourself in app, by the way. If you're already an OO user and you're using the back tester and you want to use maybe you were waiting for Schwab, maybe you were waiting for beta to end, you can go in, if you click the trade tab and click one of those, or if you go into your settings in billing, you can manage your own subscription and just upgrade yourself.
We got a video on it. I'll link the video in Discord. So it's super easy.
Yeah.
And final note on that, like if you're brand new to OO, it is like It's totally possible, and maybe a good idea to just, you can jump in with back testing, and then if you get it, you understand it, you want to upgrade yourself later to automation, you can do all that yourself, and your subscription's prorated, so it'll credit your back testing sub, but it's still fine that we have two options for you, so the user can decide.
All right, guys. Well, listen, the bell just rang. Let's get to it.
There we
But
go.
guys, have a great trading day. Thanks so much for joining us on this special occasion. We're very excited. And for those who think we're not retiring now, this is just the beginning. So have a good day. We'll talk to you guys soon.